Hey folks, I just wanted to put up another video, update video sort of thing. It's been a while. It's been crazy busy, all good stuff. Like I said, one of my last videos that the next little bit was going to be busy. Well, it held true. And it is all good stuff between everything that I do, both in a professional sense and personal sense. Life has a interesting way of sort of reshaping itself and allowing you to really, once you take hold of it and gain control of your response to what life throws at you, life really does sort of kind of come together. And that's what's been happening the last little bit. And I've been very grateful. So, as many know, with what I do hosting wise, very busy couple weeks with conferences. Did a conference on the 20th out here in Mass, ended up in San Antonio for the 31st through the 3rd. And then we had our FRC slash New Hampshire Fire Academy co-hosted conference, the first one on Friday, this past Friday, the 4th. And then, so that's conference wise. Next week, I'm actually doing 2 classroom presentations. And I've actually been in talks now, not next week, but the week after, I'll be doing a video training video, if you will, a video presentation that they'll be using for training on mental health. We'll be recording that. So pretty pumped about all these opportunities, pretty pumped that, the big thing, even beyond me, like just the fact that there are so many, in my mind, so many opportunities and happenings and events taking place regarding mental wellness, and that so many agencies and departments and organizations are starting to see the need for this, to start taking care of our first responders and their families, honestly. And it's humbling and it gives me hope, because sometimes, and I say this quite a bit, sometimes we don't, those of us who go around the country and talk, or whatever it is we do, whatever it is, whatever the medium is, we don't always get the feedback, and sometimes we don't see that what we're doing is actually changing anything. So for me, one of the ways I look at the opportunities that come up is that is change. That is the world change. That is the culture changing. That is society changing. That is us as first responders being thick-headed, tough guys and girls, changing and accepting the fact that, something, we see horrible shit. We're not out there to change that. Our best days, or the days we feel most needed at work, are someone's worst day. That's not going to change. What needs to change, and what appears to be changing very slowly, is agencies and departments and organizations taking those steps forward to do these things. And I got to tell you, folks, I love it. I love it. I love what I do. I love talking to all you. I love being out there. Again, this last little bit has been mad busy. And I'll be honest with you, I think with all the going around I did, I think I met myself in a few airports going back and forth. But I got to tell you, it's all been worth it. It has all been worth it. And I want to give a big shout out to my wife, who, I wouldn't be able to do this without her support. And I do mean that. I do everything that I do, but I do it with the support of my wife, where, but we have a family, we run a house, and, we have your typical family responsibilities. I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I wouldn't be able to leave the house for 5 days and go 2,500 miles away and do what I do regularly without the support of my wife, Adele. And so, for those of you who are married or have a spouse or significant other, whether it's a wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, or family, even kids, thank them for what you do, and their support of that. It's a huge thing. I would not be able to do what I do without the support of my wife, and it does cause household stress, which we have to work through. But we both acknowledge and accept the fact that what we do, because I do consider what I do done because of what my wife does for me to be able to do it. So what we do as a couple is so important and needed. And so it gives us a sense of worth, but it also gives us pride. And we should all be proud of what we do, especially all of you as first responders, and those of you within that world who are trying to break down the stigma and who are trying to advocate in whatever means you are, whether you're just talking to your members at your department, and that could be 30 people strong, or you're touring the country, writing books, kissing babies, and shaking hands, whatever it is you're doing, all of you should be proud. And so, real quick, you know, info here. Not to let too many cats out of the bag. So, I told you some of the things that are coming up. And one of my last updates, I had told some other things that are coming up, including podcasts and the possibility of starting a podcast. We are actually trying to start a podcast through FRC. It's just been trying to get the heads together to finalize some things. But one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about was feedback. And I've gotten some pretty awesome feedback from the last over the last 12 days, from beginning with the conference with Forge VFR and Mass DOC on the 20th down in Milford, Mass, up to San Antonio, back on when I was out there on the 2nd. I spoke. I'm losing track of my days. It was Wednesday the 2nd, I believe, this past week, and then including in honestly and not the most important, but one I have a lot of pride in because of me and the people I work with, and my cohorts, all the work we put into it, our conference on the 4th. So I got a lot of feedback, a lot of communication with people from the Mass DOC regarding that conference. That is actually between that and the Middlesex County Sheriff's, back on the September 8th. There's been a lot of great connections there, which for me as a firefighter is unusual, because that's law enforcement, that's Team Blue, right? And so being on Team Red, being a Buckethead, it is not normal for law enforcement agencies to reach out to me. And so when they do, and when I do interact with primarily them, it is very humbling, and it's a high honor for me to be accepted into that unit, into that team, and that family. So that was a really good conference. It was a 1-day conference down there in Milford. A very long day. A lot of good information was shared that day. Then San Antonio was amazing. And I got to be honest with you, for all those who see this who are out in Texas, thank you guys for the hospitality. I stuck out like a sore thumb, not only being 6'5", but wicked pissa. Apparently, I have a very strong accent when you put me down in the heart of Texas with people who don't have a very strong accent. So I got my balls busted a little bit, and it was all done out of love. I was very well accepted, and I will be back. I promise you, I will be back to Texas. I will find a way to be at another conference in the next bit, whether as a speaker or a guest. But that was great being out in San Antonio, both touring the city, being with family, Chuck and Jenna. Shout out to Chuck and Jenna Monteverde and Pelkey, Pelka Verde, we'll call it. So I get to stay with family and friends out there, and then honestly, just got accepted. Toured some firehouses. The men and women out there are just unbelievably welcoming. So thank you guys for that. That made everything so much less stressful. And then the conference itself was just amazing. That was a first responder coaching themed one for me. That my presentation was very much, not only was it kind of short for me, it was 45 minutes is quick, but it was very much focused on the coaching end. And for me, when I present that way, I present it in a way of how coaching helped me, and talk about the facts about it. And a lot of questions were asked after, so that was really good too. So a lot of fun out there. This Friday, this conference that a lot of you who watch these videos were at. I know there's quite a few of you who do watch my videos who were in attendance this past Friday, the 4th, up in Concord, New Hampshire, at the Fire Academy. That was months of hard work by a lot of people on both in the background, but also on the New Hampshire Fire Academy and the first responder coaching end, and all of our families who supported us and put in some legwork as well. And it all came together very good. We didn't have quite the attendance I think all of us hoped for, and I always tell people this, and a lot of people who don't go to conferences or maybe speak a lot don't maybe not get this. It's not about filling a room with 200 people. It's about filling the room with the people who need to hear it. And I do mean hear it, not just people who are going to listen. You have to hear it. And I think every person in that room heard it. Not just me. There was 5 other presenters, 6 technically. There was 6 presentations and a total of 7 presenters. We had 6 vendors speak, and we had opening ceremonies, and it was just all so well received. I'm still receiving feedback from it. I actually had to mute my phone last night because I was getting messages right up to the time I went to bed, which I did go to bed early last night. I'm not going to lie. It was a Golden Girls kind of bedtime for me. I was in bed by like 8:39 last night, which is early for me. But the feedback was great. And for me as a speaker, I if I don't get the feedback regarding my presentation, I ask for it because that's how I customize and reapproach my presentation. And any speaker who does this more than once will tell you that is so important. And as you do more and more of these, you tend to read the crowd, and so you adjust. I may go in with my outline, which I have an outline for every presentation I do, and I go with that. I go with that outline, and that's fine and dandy. But you read the crowd, and as you say certain things, you feel them grab onto that, and you kind of build off of that. So a lot of times, the outline ends up kind of getting chucked to the side. And so there were some things yesterday that I wanted to say that I ended up not saying. So for those of you that were there, I really wanted to harp more on like the types of help I got, which I didn't really harp on as much. I got kind of caught up in the moment and maybe threw a joke out when I shouldn't have, and the train left the station, didn't really come back. So, but it was a really good presentation, and everyone else did such an amazing job. Big shout out to Steve Holmes, Jules Scott, and Brian Keys, who Brian Keys and Jules Scott did a joint presentation. Christy Lister from First Help, Tracy Eldridge, and Jen Fanning from McLean's. All of you did such an amazing job, and it takes some serious cojones, and I don't mean that in a sexist way at all, but it takes some serious strength to get up in front of a room of people, a room of your peers, a room of first responders and military, and talk about the things that were talked about. And there was some heavy shit. There was a lot of times you'd look around that room and there wasn't a dry eye. A lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of love, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, Friday, yesterday, Friday was a great day. Great day. Everything came together. We learned a lot, learned what to do better, what not to do. And so when we go to put our next one together, which may be sooner than a lot of you may think, it'll be even better. And this is all about learning and growing. And we have to learn and grow even on a conference organizer level. If we're going to push that theme while we're talking about this at said conference, you have to learn and grow at every step. And that's what life is really all about, is just always doing better. And our hope is to do these and make them available to any first responder and their spouses, family, as often as we can, and maybe not just in New Hampshire. I think our hope, at least at FRC, is to get these across the country, or at least in different areas of the country, to open them up to more people. In our contacts across the country and our coaches across the country, that's a possibility. So we are working on some different avenues with this, and this is sort of one of the things that falls under what I do at FRC as director of promotions, is promoting the business, but also working alongside other agencies and departments to do the same thing and to better their members and to better the first responders in their area. So look for some more info on that as we end out this year, and hopefully we'll have info for more stuff coming up in the beginning of the year. But to wrap this up, very busy times, all good stuff. So a lot of you do reach out to me, and I do my best to get back to you. Most of you reach out in Messenger or text, and I do apologize if I have missed anyone's messages. I've literally been lightheaded most of the last couple of days because I've been busier than a 3-balled alley cat, and so have a lot of the people that I work with, and people who do a lot of the same thing as me. A lot of us, especially those of us who did this conference, have been really busy, and it showed that yesterday. So much love to everyone who was involved. Everyone, I mean, I could sit here all day naming names, but all the speakers that I already said, plus Jennifer Anderson, her husband Kevin, Audrey from FRC, Caroline, Mark, Victoria and her husband, Sue, Dan. I'm gonna forget someone. And then on the academy end, and if I've forgotten you, it's not deliberate. On the academy end, Maria on the EMS end, who took care of so much, got us content for this, and orchestrated so many things. And again, a big shout out to echo my Facebook post to Deb Pendergrass, who has been a huge proponent of this the whole step of the way, and is one of the people who got me into, gave me one of my first opportunities to do public speaking. And without all of these people, everyone I named, maybe even some people I forgot, none of this would have happened. So big shout out. Everyone look out for what maybe the next thing coming down the line. I don't know when that'll be, but keep your ears open and your eyes on social media and whatnot, and hopefully more stuff will come. So that's what I got for today, folks. Like, share, subscribe if this is on the YouTube, and look for more videos. We'll be in touch. I'm always here. Reach out. Keep talking about it. Love you all.